Hey, heart seekers, welcome to the Heart's Hello Show, where our hearts are the foundation of our well being and happiness. I am your host, Kiana Talena. Today, we're going to be diving into something just a tad bit different. You are too heavy, not physically, but emotionally, mentally, maybe even spiritually. Sometimes life just gives us things that weigh us down, and we may be holding on to them without even realizing how much we're carrying. But here's the thing, I don't want you to have to feel like you got to sit with that. You can actually sit those things down, and we're going to talk about it today. See, before we get started, I need you just to reflect on what might be weighing you down. Maybe it's the stress from work, fear of failure, or maybe even some unresolved trauma. And if I can be completely honest, transparent, and vulnerable today, I'm feeling heavy. Heavy just from dealing with stuff that I thought that I had gotten past. And then when those things begin to rear its ugly head again, it's like, dang, I still am carrying this weight. And so I need you to just think about or imagine yourself walking through life with this heavy backpack. And at first you can manage it, but as more things continue to get added to that backpack, your expectations, guilt, fear, you begin to feel exhausted. And eventually that weight stops you from moving forward altogether. Like I said, for me, I'm feeling heavy even in this moment, but what I've realized is I have a responsibility. I have a responsibility to show up each and every week to give you the best of what I have of me, to be able to pour out all that I have and to share with you all that life can be lifing and that you still have to show up despite not feeling your best sometimes, despite me talking about being able to carry weight and to let go of weight. And here I am talking to you right now where I'm feeling like I'm carrying this weight that I thought that I put down, but I have to keep picking back up. And so I want to encourage you today because as you are listening to me, you are getting real time that we all go through stuff. And we all have to be able to push through sometimes. I know that I've talked about being in spaces where you have to be able to pause. And yes, there are times for those. And so for me right now, even though I am in a pause, I'm still having to press. I'm still having to press because I am in purpose on purpose. So I'm encouraging you as I'm encouraging myself that the first step to lightening your load is recognizing what you are carrying. I know I had you think about being able to walk through life with this backpack on. And if you are in a safe space, I want you to really visualize yourself with this invisible backpack that you are carrying. Thinking about, and as I'm talking to you all, I'm doing the very same thing. My eyes are closed and I'm thinking about having this invisible backpack on. And you know, when you were in school, you would kind of grab the straps of it as it's on your back. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm envisioning myself wearing this backpack and all of the things that I've put into the backpack, but then also all of the things that other people have added to the backpack that were not mine. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. And as I'm thinking about it, my back is getting tight and I'm like, a lot of this does not belong to me. So why am I carrying it? Why am I carrying and holding on to weight that does not belong to me? Why do we sometimes feel responsible for other people's happiness Why do we internalize messages that we need to do, to carry, and to be all things for everyone, and we don't? See, sometimes we carry weight because we think that we should. We've been taught that holding on to everything and having it all together, our families, our jobs, our relationships, is almost like a badge of honor. But what if I told you that carrying too much weight is holding you back from being your most authentic self? See, when I pressed play to discuss this topic, I could feel the weight. And I was trying to ask myself, do I even want to talk about this, or do I want to try to find another topic? But what I realized is that I'm showing up as my authentic self. And so the more that I talk about this weight that I'm carrying, the more it's helping me to press through and to realize what I need to be able to let go. So I need you to think about, what is it that you are carrying that you need to put down? What is it that you are holding on to that is preventing you from being your most authentic self? And what is the cost of you being too heavy? What is the cost of you being too heavy? See, weight impacts us in different ways. It impacts our lives through our relationships. It even impacts us through our health. So carrying all that weight doesn't just slow us down, it changes us. It can make us resentful, tired, disconnected from the people that we love, even from ourselves. See, I'm hoping that you all are hearing my heart today, because it is not by happenstance, one, that you have decided to listen to this episode, but two, I'm hoping that you are really thinking about, what can you take out of your bag? Because the more you journey through life, you're going to pick up things both good and bad. But the more you continue to add to that bag without taking out those things that no longer serve you, you no longer have room for the things that do. So I need you to think about and to stop doing more, to stop being more. Because if you're too heavy with an expectation of you're not doing enough, how is that helping you? See, I'm on here today because not only am I pressing through to help myself to lighten my load, but it is my goal and my desire and my responsibility today that I can also help you and give you some practical advice on how you can let go of your weight. See, I talked about it before, that sometimes taking those small intentional steps to be able to release those burdens is what you have to do. And we have to begin to unpack that backpack, one thing at a time. I'm not saying that you need to take it off and begin to just dump everything out, but sometimes taking one thing out at a time and assessing what is in the bag. Most of us are just going through life and we're carrying this bag of things and people and guilt and shame and resentment and fear and internalizing all of this stuff and not even realizing what it is that we're carrying. So I need you to start unpacking. I need you to start saying no sometimes. Realizing that certain things no longer serve you. And as you're unpacking all of these things, I need you to begin to forgive yourself, because you are not perfect. You may be carrying stuff because you feel like you have to. For some, it may be that you feel like you are that one in your family, that you have to carry your family on your back. And I'm here to tell you that you don't. I'm here to tell you that each and every person plays their own responsibility in life. And so it's not your job to carry them. It's not your job to work more so that they can do less. If they are more than capable of doing whatever they need to do, let them carry their own bag. Because how are they going to know what they need to do if you're always there to pick it up for them? So I'm going to ask you today, what can you sit down? What can you take out? Because I've asked you to close your eyes and visualize yourself wearing this backpack. And I'm going to ask you to do the same thing again. I'm going to ask you, what is it that you may be carrying? Is it unresolved trauma or pain? Can it just be the emotions that are lingering that have been affecting you as you move through life? Is it loss, betrayal, childhood wounds? Those things can feel like a shadow that is always present. Is that in your backpack? What about the expectations of others? Sometimes we have this pressure that we have to live up to this societal and familial and sometimes even cultural expectations, which can be overwhelming. This need to be perfect, the perfect partner, the perfect parent, the perfect employee or friend. Many things have just weighed us down, and the fear of letting others down or just not being enough. Is that in your bag? Or maybe it's the self-doubt and the imposter syndrome. Constantly questioning your abilities, your worth, your purpose. Feeling like you're a fraud despite all of your accomplishments. Making you feel weighed down by the fear of failure or being found out that you are not who you say that you are. Is that in your bag? Maybe those three things that I just mentioned aren't you. What about guilt and shame? Guilt over past actions or decisions, or the shame about who you are and who you've been perceived to be. Sometimes it can be paralyzing. That emotional weight will keep people from forgiving themselves and being able to move forward. Is that you? Is that in your bag? Maybe it's the fear of unknown, the fear of uncertainty about your future, change, success. That in itself can be a heavy cloud. And most people get stuck in that situation because they're holding on to things that no longer serve them. And it can feel risky to embrace change. Is that in your bag? What about unmet expectations of yourself? See, sometimes people have these unrealistic expectations that they put on themselves about being able to achieve certain goals or to reach certain milestones by a specific time. And then when they fall short, they internalize all of that failure because they feel like they are carrying this disappointment and it's a heavy burden. Is that in your bag? Or maybe it's your need to control. Trying to control everything and everyone around you. It leads to a heavy weight that many people cannot handle. And so that inability to let go, to trust others, to trust life itself, that's mentally exhausting. Maybe that's what's in your bag. Maybe it's your negative inner dialogue, that stinking thinking that I've talked about before, that I share with you all, that you're with you all day long and you talk to you. And so many people carry the weight of just this constant internal critic, you. The voice inside your head is telling you that you are not doing enough, that you're always falling short. That mental weight alone, crippling, is that in your bag? Maybe it's some unprocessed grief. And grief can take many forms. It can be the loss of a loved one. It can be a loss of a relationship, a job, a dream. See, carrying grief in silence, although you may feel like you're strong, that unprocessed sorrow weighs heavily on your spirit. Is that in your bag? Okay, well, maybe it's this comparison and jealousy, because we live in this world, this social media world, where people are just carrying the weight of comparing their lives to others, constantly feeling like someone else is living a better life, a more successful life. And that adds an emotional burden. And it ultimately steals your joy. Is that in your bag? Okay, well, maybe it's burnout, overwork, the pressure of always having to be productive or hustling for work. It can lead to burnout. And so many people are carrying that weight of just, I need to do more just to stay afloat. Not only is it physically draining, but it's also mentally draining. That could be in your bag. Maybe it's some unspoken regret. See, people often carry the weight of regret and they don't say anything. They have an opportunity, feel like they have a missed opportunity or a path that they didn't take. They feel like, well, what could have been? What should have been? Possibly if I would have done this. It becomes a mental burden that just lingers on through life, because you are always going to be stuck there trying to figure out if you would have made this left turn, if you would have made that right turn, if you hadn't done anything and just stayed there, what would have happened? You get stuck in the would've, could've, should've. That might be in your bag. I don't know. Well, what about resentment? Maybe unaddressed resentment from just feeling wronged by other people. That others people can weigh you down, holding on to grudges or past offenses that just keep you stuck. And the only thing that it's doing is adding more emotional baggage to what you already have. And so I just need to ask you, if you close your eyes right now and take a moment and imagine yourself setting down a piece of the weight, what does it feel like? What does it feel like to set down that fear? To set down the imposter syndrome, to set down that if I just do more, then I will be better. What does that feel like? That resentment, the guilt, the shame. What does it feel like? And then what are you making space for by doing this? What are you making space for? So those are the things that I need you to think about. And I need you to wrap your mind around the fact that just because you're wearing this bag does not mean that you can keep adding to it without taking out stuff. So yeah, you may be heavy, but you don't have to be. So I need you to lighten your load and begin to free yourself so that you can live the life that you were meant to live without all of the unnecessary weight. See, yes, I know that you're strong, but you don't have to carry it all. So set it down and make space for the version of you who can move freely, lightly, and authentically. So I'm thankful for you all today. I'm thankful that you sat down and thought about what you can sit down and take out of your bag. The weights that you've often carried silently over time, yeah, they compound. They make you feel stuck and they make you feel incapable of moving forward. But if you take time to listen to this message, and I don't believe that you can just listen to it one time, listen to it several times, and each time having taken something out that was different than you took out before. So I'm thankful for you all. I'm thankful for us being able to release burdens together because we're in this thing together. We're here to learn. We're here to love. We're here to be authentic. So until the next time, release those weights and be the person who you have been created to be. All right. Bye.